So I'm going to first play the tune 2 times through at a nice handy pace, but more a listening pace, so you can go back and listen as many times as you want to get the tune into your head. And then we're going to go and break the tune down nice and slowly, phrase by phrase. Okay, so let's get started with breaking the tune down. You might have noticed from listening to me playing it, we're in the key of D major. So a reminder, that means we have our F sharp, of course, that's built into the flute. So any silver flute players out there, remember to play your F sharp. And we also have C sharp. But this tune, as you might have noticed, is a good example of what we sometimes refer to as a D modal tune. Because when we get to the second part, we shift into bringing in C naturals. So it's nice to get that kind of a tune into your ear, where we're going to be flipping from C sharps to C naturals throughout the tune. So we're going to take the first part, and I'm going to break each phrase down once on my own. You can have a listen, and then you can join in with me the second time. So first phrase. Let's try that together after 4, 3 and 4. And I'm going to go on to the second line. So it's nearly the same as the first line, we're just moving to a D at the end. Let's try that together again after 4. So 3 and 4. Now moving on to the third line. So same as the first. Let's try that together again after 4. And the last line of the first part. And together after 4, 3 and 4. And here we can add in our cut on the D. So remember, cut on the D, we're going to just lift our third finger. I'll just take that last measure. You can try that with me. 3 and 4. Okay, let's try the whole first part of the tune together. 3 and 4. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the second part of the tune. So like I said earlier, we're now going to shift and use C naturals. First phrase, I'll play it for you first. Let's try it together after 4, 3 and 4. Next phrase. Let's try that together. 3 and 4. For any flute players out there that have a fully keyed flute, or they have their C key, the long C key, it's a good opportunity there to bring in your long C. I'm going to play that second phrase again, this time bringing in the long C key. Well, just on the last note, you'll see that I'm using my finger there to touch the C key. Let's try that again together. So second phrase. Very good. Moving on to the third phrase. And let's try that together from the B pickup. 3 and 4. And the last phrase. So notice here, before we try that line together, we move back, we modulate back to using a C sharp. Well, let's try that together. 3 and 4. Okay, let's try and put the whole second part together. Let's play it together after 4. 3 and 4. So you might have noticed there, as I was playing the second part, I dropped a few notes to leave space to take a breath. So if I just review that, first note that I dropped is in the second line. We're going to drop that middle D. So we get... And then as I'm moving on to the third line, I can also drop that middle D. So once again, I'm just going to play for you the third and the fourth line with the extra breath added in at the end of the third phrase. And you might find as you start to speed up the tune, you need to take less breaths. But for now, when we're playing nice and slow, it's good to start to learn to add the breathing into the tune as we go. So before we go ahead and play the whole tune from start to finish together, I'm going to give you just a little exercise for the fingering to work through that relates to this particular tune. Oftentimes on the flute, especially when we're getting started, the movement between the C and the A can be a little bit cumbersome or a little bit tricky. So it's a good idea to break little sections like that down and work through it. So for example, in the second part, when our C natural comes in, right? So C natural fingering, and we move to the A, just going to take that phrase on its own. what we can do first of all, I want you to play it with me. We're just going to isolate that phrase on its own. Let's try it together. After 4, 3 and 4. Again, 3 and 4. If you're having trouble with that still, we're going to literally just break down the movement of these two fingers from the C to the A. Let's try that together. After 4, 3 and 4. As you get more comfortable with that, we can speed it up a little bit. So let's try it a little faster this time. About that pace. So here we go. 3 and 4. Okay, let's go back to that phrase one more time, and hopefully it's a little bit easier. 3 and 4. One more time, a little bit faster. 3 and 4. We can also do something similar that we have in the first, either the first part of the tune or the last line of the second part, which of course is with our C sharp. A little bit of a tricky movement in the start because we're doing lots of fingers are moving at the one time. So we're going from our E to our C sharp, which is all the fingers off, and then back to the A. We're going to isolate that again. I want you to try that with me this time. After 4, 3 and 4. And again, 3 and 4. And one more time, a little bit faster. 3 and 4. Okay, so now that we have all of those bits, we're going to put the tune together and we're going to do our tune practice. So I'd like you at home to play along with me. First time we play the tune, we're going to play it nice and slow. And then as we repeat, the second time we're going to speed it up and try and bring it up in pace to a little bit more of a natural playing tempo. So after 4, 3 and 4.